High School of the Dead is an incredibly entertaining show, offering the perfect blend of heart-pounding action, suspense, and engaging character dynamics. The series throws you into a high-stakes zombie apocalypse where survival is never guaranteed, keeping you on the edge of your seat with every episode. Beyond the thrilling action sequences, the show excels at developing its characters, giving you reasons to care about their struggles, friendships, and personal growth in a world gone mad. The suspense is masterfully balanced with moments of humor, tension, and emotional depth, making it more than just a typical zombie story. With its striking animation, intense fight scenes, and unpredictable plot twists, High School of the Dead is a must-watch for anyone who loves action-packed adventures that are as emotionally engaging as they are exciting. High School of the Dead is genuinely a blast to watch. Once you start, it is hard to stop, and you will probably end up binge-watching the entire series in one sitting. High School of the Dead far outshines Sword Art Online. While Sword Art Online is slow, predictable, and lacking in real substance, High School of the Dead delivers non-stop excitement, intense action, and genuinely engaging characters. Unlike Sword Art Online, which often gets bogged down in repetitive storylines, High School of the Dead keeps you hooked with high-stakes drama, suspenseful moments, and a story that constantly evolves. It is a show that truly earns your attention, offering thrills and entertainment that are hard to find elsewhere. Skip Sword Art Online and just watch High School of the Dead. Sword Art Online is bad and completely overrated. The only people who think Sword Art Online is good are those who have no idea what real anime looks like and have only ever watched Sword Art Online. High School of the Dead is actually worth your time. The fictional games in the Sword Art Online universe are abysmal. It is painfully obvious that the author has no real understanding of gaming and did not bother to do even basic research. If these games actually existed, nobody in their right mind would play them. Moreover, the Sword Art Online fan base is awful. They treat the show as if it is a flawless masterpiece and will attack everyone who dares to disagree. Anyone who does not share their delusions gets harassed relentlessly. If you value your sanity, it is best to stay far away from this toxic fan base. Engaging with Sword Art Online fans is an absolute waste of time. They parade around as if liking this poorly written show somehow makes them superior, but all they are really doing is making fools of themselves. Their endless defending of every terrible plot twist and hollow character just highlights how little they actually know about good anime. Trying to argue with them is pointless, because they are too blind and stubborn to realize how embarrassing they look. It is frustrating to watch endless new seasons of that dumpster fire Sword Art Online, while genuinely great shows are cut short far too early. It is truly baffling how Sword Art Online became so popular. Its success only proves that a lot of people have poor taste in anime and lack any real critical thinking when it comes to storytelling, character development, or quality content. High School of the Dead is far superior in every way. In this video, we are going to break down the show, exploring its intense action, memorable characters, and gripping storylines, while also sharing tips on how you might survive in its dangerous, zombie-filled world.
You're at school minding your own business, and suddenly a zombie outbreak begins. What should you do now? How can you survive? In this video, I'll break down the High School of the Dead anime series, explain all the mistakes made, see if I can make better decisions than the characters, and ultimately try to beat the zombie apocalypse. Let's get started. Episode 1, Spring of the Dead. The series begins with the protagonist Takashi Komuro feeling sad about his childhood friend Rei Miyamoto, and how they grew apart after she dumped him. Another student named Saya Takagi comes to make fun of Takashi. After Takagi leaves, Takashi notices a zombie attacking the front of the school. In this series, the zombies are known as them. A group of PE teachers approach the zombie, but one of them, Mr. Toshiba, gets bitten after grabbing it. The mistake here is that you should never make any physical contact with a stranger. Of course, the teacher didn't know that this was a zombie, but there was already a gate separating them, so there's no need to reach out and grab the zombie. Maybe the zombie would have left on its own if there was no confrontation. Mr. Toshiba comes back to life and bites another female teacher. At this this point, Takashi realizes that something is wrong, and he goes to warn Rei and his friend Hisashi Ego, who Rei is currently dating. Takashi, Rei, and Hisashi run off. Hisashi gets the idea that they need some weapons to protect themselves. If everything that Takashi said was true, this is definitely a wise decision. There are plenty of things found in schools that you can use as a makeshift weapon. Anything is better than fighting barehanded. I would have personally taken this bag and filled it up with even more weapons. That way, if I met anyone else, I could give them one of the weapons, and we would have a better chance fighting the zombies together. Of course, the bag will slow you down as well, so you don't want to carry too much. Hisashi is a black belt in karate, so he chooses not to take a weapon. This is a bad choice. Even if you're skilled at hand-to-hand combat, it would still be best to have a weapon to defend yourself. You don't know what kind of dangers you're going to face. Takashi already saw one of the teachers make physical contact with a zombie, and that didn't turn out well, so he should have said something here and suggested Hisashi take a weapon. Rei's father works for the police, and she tries calling him, but there's an automated message saying that there's an extremely high call volume. Then there's an announcement made over the school's intercom that tells all the students to evacuate. Widespread panic and chaos ensues, but luckily Takashi, Rei, and Hisashi are already out of the classrooms, and they head for the roof of the school. Since the classrooms will be too crowded, you definitely want to find a secure and secluded area during a zombie apocalypse, so this is a great choice. The three encounter a teacher turned zombie, Mr. Wakisaka. Rei fights Mr. Wakisaka but isn't able to kill him. Hisashi interferes but Mr. Wakisaka bites him in the arm. As mentioned before, if Hisashi had some sort of weapon, this wouldn't have happened. I'm also not sure why Takashi is just standing there and not participating in the fight until after Hisashi gets bitten. If this was a 3-on-1 at the start, the characters could have easily beaten Mr. Wakisaka. The most important thing to do in a zombie apocalypse is to work together. You're probably not going to survive on your own, so you have to rely on other people's help. Takashi smashes Mr. Wakisaka's head with a baseball bat and finally kills him. Takashi, Rei, and Hisashi make it to the roof, but they find out that the entire city is in disorder. What's happening at their school is happening everywhere. In the school, two girls are running away together, but one of them gets attacked by some zombies. The other girl kicks her away, which is honestly the best decision to make if you want to survive. Sure, it's cold-hearted, but it was already too late for the other girl, so there's nothing you can do to save her. You can only save yourself. Unfortunately, some more zombies sneak up behind the other girl as well, so it looks like she's dead. These two girls should have been more aware of their surroundings. If you see zombies, you should run in the other direction. Also, making noise and talking isn't a good option either, since it'll attract more zombies. These two girls should have kept quiet. In another part of the school, a teacher jumps out of the window to his death. Obviously, if you want to survive, don't do this. Back on the roof, Takashi, Rei, and Hisashi try to get to higher ground, and they also block off the stairs. This is definitely the best thing to do right now. You'll never be able to fight all these zombies, so the only other option is to hide and try and wait for help to arrive. Hisashi starts turning into a zombie, and Takashi is forced to kill him. There was no way to save Hisashi, so Takashi didn't have much of a choice at this point. I would have listened to Hisashi and pushed him over the ledge, instead of waiting for him to completely turn into a zombie. Zombie Hisashi might have been able to bite one of the characters, so if you're going to kill him, you should do it before he's a zombie. Hesitating during these crucial moments could end up killing you. Episode 2, Escape from the Dead. This episode starts off with two other students at the high school, Saya Takagi and Kota Hirano. Another student gets attacked by a zombie, so Saya and Kota use that opportunity to run away. Not much could have been done about this random student, unfortunately. It seems like he was ready to accept his death, and he didn't want to put up a fight. Another group of the students try to get help from the teachers, but it turns out that all the teachers have turned into zombies. Getting help from other people is a good idea, but you definitely want to check and make sure they aren't zombies first. The students here could have looked through the windows to see what was going on in the room before knocking on the door. These deaths were totally avoidable. Back on the roof of the school, Rei tries calling her dad again. She's able to contact him this time, and he says that the entire city is in chaos, and they need to get out of there. It seems like help isn't going to arrive. So yeah, the best decision to do right now would be to get somewhere safe. In the school's nurse's office, another student named Ishii and the school's nurse Shizuka Marikawa are attacked by a horde of zombies. Ishii gets bitten, but fortunately Kendo Club president Saiko Busujima arrives in the nick of time to save Shizuka. Saiko kills Ishii before he turns into a zombie, which, as I said in episode 1, is the right thing to do. You don't want to wait until it's too late, because you could end up getting bitten yourself. Kota builds a nail gun and uses it as a weapon to kill some zombies. I would have personally picked a melee weapon that doesn't require any ammo, since you'll eventually run out sooner or later. The wrenches or the saw here would do nicely. If you have a fast enough reaction time, I'm sure you can even dual wield the two wrenches. Meanwhile, Rei and Takashi use the water from a fire hose to push back the zombies on the roof. If you were in Rei and Takashi's position, but you weren't able to find a convenient fire hose, then I would say that you should keep quiet and wait a bit to see if the zombies will leave on their own. If not, try killing them one by one through through the gaps. After leaving the roof, Rei and Takashi then plan to go to Takashi's house to get supplies and meet up with other people who haven't turned yet. Saya and Kota experiment with the zombies and deduce that their senses are dead. They can't see or feel anything and only respond to sounds. Saya yells at Kota for being fat, and this attracts a bunch of zombies nearby. Obviously, Saya should have kept her mouth shut. Kota runs out of nails, but luckily Rei, Takashi, and Psycho come to rescue Saya and Kota. As I said before, you want to pick a weapon that doesn't need any ammo, so you'll never have to worry about running out. The characters introduce themselves to each other and hide in the teacher's lounge. They get the keys to the microbus and plan on using that, but the zombie outbreak is much worse than they thought. Episode 3, Democracy Under the Dead. The zombie pandemic is actually worldwide. The entire world is experiencing this outbreak. The only way out of the school is through the front, and Takashi's team encounters another group of survivors along the way. The zombies can only react to sound, and one of the students accidentally makes a loud noise. The characters are forced to fight the zombies, and some of the other students are killed in the process. This could have been avoided if the students were a lot more careful. Not much you can do now except to fight and hope you survive. Takashi's team is able to make it to the bus. Right as they're about to leave, they spot another group of survivors, led by a teacher named Koichi Shido. Rei doesn't want to help, but the others let him and the students on board. I would have honestly listened to what Rei said. In a zombie apocalypse, you have to worry about other people a lot more than the zombies. Trust is important, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Rei clearly had doubts about Mr. Shido, and I'd believe my childhood best friend a lot more than a random teacher. Also, if the characters waited too long, there would have been too many zombies in the area, and they wouldn't have room to drive away. The students on the bus start arguing with each other, which is the exact thing you should not be doing right now. You already have tons of stuff to worry about, so it's time to bury the hatchet. Mr. Shido appoints himself as the leader, but Rei doesn't agree, so she runs off the bus. Takashi goes after Rei, but suddenly a bus filled with zombies crashes and traps Rei and Takashi in a tunnel, cutting them off from the others. The characters plan to meet up at the East Police Station at 7 o'clock, either today or tomorrow. As stated before, if Mr. Shido's group was never let onto the bus, the characters wouldn't have stopped, and therefore Rei and Takashi wouldn't have been separated from the group. Rei and Takashi defeat a zombie motorcyclist and ride the motorcycle towards the city. Sure, riding a motorcycle is faster than walking, but Takashi doesn't have a license, so I'm not sure how safe it will be. I would have just walked instead. The motorcycle will also make a lot of noise, and that'll attract nearby zombies. Episode 4, Running in the Dead. We get a quick recap of all the past events from Takashi's point of view. Rei and Takashi decide to move through the city, which is not a good choice. In a zombie apocalypse, you want to avoid populated areas like the city, since that's where all the zombies will be. Go to the countryside and start learning how to farm and grow your own food. Rei and Takashi find a police car, and after searching the vehicle, Rei takes a revolver, a pair of handcuffs, and an expandable baton from the dead police officers. As mentioned in episode 2, it would be better to find a weapon that doesn't require any ammo, but a gun can come in handy in certain situations, so you should certainly take it rather than leave it. Rei and Takashi also choose to keep their makeshift weapons from the school, which is a smart thing to do in case they run out of ammo for the gun. Furthermore, in the trunk of a patrol car, police officers usually store other bulky equipment needed for a crime scene, such as body armor and bulletproof vests. There also might be first aid kits, a shotgun, and a portable defibrillator as well. All of those items are extremely useful, so I would have definitely searched the trunk of the police car as well. Of course, it's a bit tricky, since the back end of the police car is crushed by that truck, but I would have tried crawling under the truck and going to the other side to see if I could get the trunk open. This is also a good time to raid a few of the nearby stores to find some food and water. It's probably been at least a few hours since Rei and Takashi ate something. Just make sure you check to see that the stores aren't filled with zombies first. Rei and Takashi stop at a gas station to refuel the motorcycle. When Takashi goes to the cash register to operate the gas pump, Rei gets attacked by a crazy survivor who holds her hostage at knife point. Rei and Takashi should have gone to the cash register together so they wouldn't be split up. Rei could be on the lookout while Takashi breaks the cash register. If you've seen any horror movies, you'll know that you should never split up. Takashi is forced to listen to what the crazy survivor says, and he fills up the motorcycle with gas. But then Takashi sees an opportunity, and he's able to shoot the crazy survivor point blank, saving Rei in the process. The zombies nearby are attracted by the sound of the gunshot, and Rei and Takashi leave the crazy survivor to die, which is the correct decision. This guy is way more dangerous than the zombies, so you can't leave him alive. If you didn't have a gun in this situation, I would have secretly tampered with the bike so that it would explode when started, or maybe try making a lot of noise so the zombies will come and sneak up behind the crazy survivor. He clearly couldn't be reasoned with, so you have no choice but to kill him and save yourself and your friend. Episode 5, Streets of the Dead. Rei and Takashi find out that all of the bridges are blocked by the police and military, so the zombies can't cross. Getting out of the city as soon as you can is optimal right now. Not only are there zombies, but also a bunch of crazy people as we saw. However, Rei and Takashi have to reunite with the other characters first, so they're forced to find another route. If you were in Rei and and Takashi's position, but you didn't need to meet up with anyone else. I would suggest trying to get onto a boat. Zombies are not good swimmers, so you should be safe on the water for the time being. Back on the bus, Saiko, Shizuka, Saya, and Kota decide to get off and head to Umbetsu Bridge on foot, which is a great choice. The bus was stuck in heavy traffic, and they weren't going anywhere anytime soon, so they wouldn't be able to meet up with Rei and Takashi as planned. Also, if you don't trust someone, don't stay with them. It's that simple. They'll just end up being a problem later on, so you should leave when you still have the chance. Saiko, Shizuka, Saya, and Kota encounter a group of zombies. Not sure how they didn't notice the zombies until now, but Rei and Takashi hear them, so they come as well. Together, the characters manage to kill all the zombies in the area. Afterwards, Shizuka says that her friend's flat is nearby, and they should all stay there. Shizuka has the key, because she looks after the place when her friend is gone. You certainly need to find a safe place to stay at during a zombie apocalypse, and they said that there's also a convenience store near the apartment, so the characters can get more supplies there. You want to get bottled water, and non-perishable or canned foods. Episode 6 in the dead of night. The girls take a bath together, while the boys check on the weapons and ammunition in the apartment. It would actually be better to bathe together all at the same time, to conserve water. Also, you never know when you might get the opportunity to take a hot bath again, since the city's water supply could be shut off due to the outbreak. This isn't the time to get embarrassed. Shizuka's friend used to be in the military, and has a ton of firearms in her apartment. Kota actually knows how to use the guns, since he was trained when he visited America. Never underestimate the fat nerdy kid at your school. They're the ones who are probably more prepared for a zombie apocalypse than anyone else. This is why you should always team up with other people that you trust during a zombie outbreak. They could have some special skills that can be very useful. At the blockade, the police have to resort to using deadly force to maintain order, and they kill many zombies and civilians alike. I'm not an expert, but I think that killing would just cause more panic, but the police don't have much of a choice. The police shouldn't have stood by and let the situation escalate to this point, but I don't think there's anything else that could have been done. The apartment has lots of food as well, so the characters really hit the jackpot. Make sure to eat up, because you don't know when or if you'll get the chance to eat a full meal again. Eat the food that's about to expire first, and you can save the rest for later. Try and see if you can find any peanut butter. It doesn't need to be refrigerated, and can last for at least 3 to 5 years. Furthermore, dried beans can last indefinitely, and energy bars are good as well. Dehydrated meat like beef jerky can last for a while, and is a great source of protein. Spam is another source of protein, and the meat is able to be preserved for a few years. If you need some caffeine, instant coffee packets can last between 2 to 20 years. Additionally, bags of potato chips can last several months, so that would be a nice snack. Moreover, instant ramen is a fantastic option, because it can be prepared in a few minutes, and since the noodles are completely dry, they can usually last up to a decade. A dog starts barking outside, and this attracts many zombies. You might have to go full Iraqi mode and kill the dog, but fortunately the characters find another way in the next episode. Episode 7, Dead Night and the Dead Ruck. A random guy outside tries killing some zombies with a shotgun, but he's overwhelmed and killed. Not a good idea. It would be better to run and hide instead of trying to fight the zombies, because the sound of the shotgun will only attract more zombies. This guy doesn't even have the high ground either like the other characters, so he's just asking to be killed. Saiko turns off all the lights in the apartment, which I don't think would have actually done anything. As we learned in the previous episodes, the zombies only react to sound. They can't see anything, so turning off the lights probably wouldn't have changed much. Although I guess it would deter from random people trying to come and ask for help, like what happens later in the episode, so it's a smart decision to turn the lights off. Takashi spots a father and daughter trying to get help. The man is unfortunately killed by some paranoid survivors. They should have left after the homeowners refused to let them in. The first time they asked, the man was just creating a lot more noise by knocking on the door and yelling, so the people in the house had to kill him to silence him, especially because the guy threatened to break the door down. Don't threaten other people during a zombie apocalypse. It won't end well for you. If people aren't going to help you, then leave and try to get help somewhere else. The daughter, Alice, starts crying, and this attracts many of the zombies nearby. Fortunately, Kota uses one of the guns and shoots the zombies from a distance. Takashi can't just stand there and watch, so he chooses to go and rescue Alice. Honestly, risking your life for random strangers is not the right thing to do in a zombie apocalypse. Perhaps it would be better to stay put. Furthermore, the sound of the gunshot will attract a lot more zombies to the apartment, so that's not good either. Rei offers to help Takashi, but he says that he'll go alone. Normally you would want other people to come and help you, but Takashi already has Kota sniping from a distance, and Rei can be on the lookout, so I would say that it's indeed better to go alone. Again, it would be wise to not go at all, so you don't risk your life, but if you absolutely have to, then go on your own. Saiko will hold down the fort when Takashi is gone. Before leaving, Rei gives Takashi a gun to protect himself. While the gun is great, Takashi has never been trained to use a gun like Kota, so his aim is most likely not very good. Also, the gun will make a lot of noise, which will attract even more zombies. Takashi doesn't even need a gun, because he has Kota sniping the zombies already. Takashi chooses to use the motorcycle, but that's just gonna create even more noise, unless you're sure you can outmaneuver all the zombies. Going on foot foot is a much better option. Takashi doesn't have a license for the motorcycle, so he's way more confident than I would ever be in that situation. I'd rather play it safe and just run there. Kota is already killing the zombies from afar, so it's not like you're in any rush to rescue Alice. Takashi crashes the motorcycle, but he's able to rescue Alice in the nick of time. The dog from the previous episode named Zero is there as well, and Takashi saves them both. After killing all the zombies in the area, the girls decide that they can't continue to stay at the apartment because of all the noise they made. Yet another reason why you shouldn't try rescuing strangers during a zombie apocalypse. If the characters didn't make any noise, they could continue staying at the apartment. I don't think you would have to leave at this point. You could just kill all the zombies close to the apartment, but then again it would be a very boring show if the characters just stayed at the apartment and didn't do anything else. So I understand that they need to introduce some conflict into the story and change the setting. The other characters get into the Humvee and load up their supplies. Takashi carries Alice and Zero and walks on the ledge of the fence wall. This plan is very risky. One slip and you're dead. I would have just waited for the other characters to come and save me. No point risking your life and the life of others to save a few minutes. Just as Takashi starts having doubts and is about to slip, the other characters come and kill the zombies, and they rescue Takashi, Alice, and Zero. Afterwards, the characters plan to go to the other side of the river. Episode 8, The Dead Way Home. Apparently there are zombies on Air Force One. Not really sure how the Secret Service didn't notice that there were infected people on board until after they turned into zombies. Did they seriously not bother to check and make sure that nobody has been bitten? I don't get it. The chairman and president have both been bitten as well. So this confirms that the Secret Service are really awful at their job in the High School of the Dead universe. If this was real life, there's no possible way the Secret Service will let the zombies get anywhere near the president and chairman. Meanwhile, Takashi's group manages to make it to the other side of the river. The characters are singing a song, but they should just keep their mouth shut. We already know that the zombies are attracted to sound, so you don't want to make any unnecessary noise. Sure, there aren't any zombies nearby right now, but you never know. Better safe than sorry. Ray, Takashi, and Saiko are sleeping, which is a good choice. They were awake the whole night as we saw in the previous episode, so this is a great time to get some rest. You'll need lots of energy for the day. Kota should also sleep a bit as well, since he was awake during the night too. Shizuka brought her girlfriend's clothes, so the other girls get dressed. The characters decide to keep the dog. I wouldn't advise keeping the dog, to be honest. The barking would attract more zombies. Kota also teaches Takashi some basic shotgun skills. It's great to share your knowledge with your friends during a zombie apocalypse. Help each other out in any way you possibly can. After getting dressed, the characters plan to go to Saya's house because that's the closest. There are a lot more zombies as the characters approach their destination, and Ray accidentally falls off the Humvee. After Shizuka is forced to stop due to a wire barrier, Ray and Takashi should have been sitting inside the Humvee like the others, and this wouldn't have happened. Never try sitting on a moving vehicle. It's not a good idea. The characters try to fight off the zombies, but they're overmatched and outnumbered. As stated in the previous episode, if the characters just stayed at the apartment, then they wouldn't be in this predicament. Hate to say I told you so, but now that the characters are here, they have to fight and hope to survive. Takashi is about to give up, but he uses Ray's gun to kill more of the zombies. He also shoots at Saiko, but the physics in the show are so wacky that she's able to somehow slow-mo matrix dodge the bullets. If this was real life, maybe don't try aiming at your friends. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to do what Saiko did in the anime. There are still way too many zombies, and the characters can't fight all of them, so Takashi and Saiko try leading the zombies away from the others by making a lot of noise. This is a good strategy, albeit very risky. You could easily get killed. It doesn't even end up working, because the zombies are still drawn to the other characters. Instead of this, I would have suggested trying to hide in the Humvee and staying quiet. Maybe the zombies will leave on their own if you don't make any noise. Standing on the Humvee and jumping over the fence is also a good option. There's clearly enough room to make it to the other side. I doubt the zombies will be able to do the same. I don't know why the characters didn't think of just jumping over the fence. It's not even that high up, so it's not like you'll break any bones when you land. Luckily, Saya's mother Yuriko arrives and also brings a group of firefighters. They save the characters by opening the fence to allow the characters to pass through. Takashi and Saiko plan to meet up with the others later at Saya's house via a different route. Episode 9, The Sword Undead. Takashi and Saiko head off, and they pass by a random red car parked on the side of the road. I would have tried looking inside the car to see if there was anything useful I could take. If so, Takashi could have easily broken the windows with a shotgun. Takashi and Saiko manage to find an auto repair shop, and there are many motorcycles and cars there. Additionally, the store has stocked up on a lot of protective gear. I would take some of this gear and put it on. The zombies probably wouldn't be able to bite through, so you have an extra layer of safety. Takashi and Saiko take an amphibious vehicle, a good choice. As stated before, zombies are not good swimmers, so you can drive the vehicle into the water, and the zombies shouldn't be able to reach you, which is exactly what the characters do later in the episode. The instruction manual is there as well, so it should be easy to learn how to drive it. Takashi drives the vehicle right into the water, and Saiko gets soaked. You should definitely change out of wet clothing as soon as possible. You don't want to catch a cold right now in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. The characters set up on a sandbar in the middle of the river, and Psycho changes into a tank top. The zombies won't be able to get to you, so this is a good time to take a break and rest up. After the zombies leave the area, Takashi and Psycho drive to a nearby park, and they land in the fountain. Psycho gets all wet again, so Takashi should really be more careful. Takashi and Psycho ditch the amphibious vehicle in the fountain, and use the noise to lure in the zombies, so that Psycho can kill all of them with her wooden sword. Not sure if this is a good decision. I think it would be better just to drive all the way to Saya's house. Psycho freezes all of a sudden when she comes across some child zombies. Fortunately, Takashi is there and shoots the two zombie children, saving Psycho in the process. Don't hesitate during a life and death situation like this. If Takashi wasn't there to rescue Psycho, she definitely would have been bitten. Takashi and Psycho run away and camp out at a shrine. The zombies shouldn't be able to get in here, so as long as Takashi and Psycho don't make too much noise, then they should be safe. Takashi also finds a real sword at the shrine, so Psycho can finally upgrade her wooden sword. Psycho changes back into her school uniform, which is smart because her tank top was drenched from the fountain. Takashi and Psycho talk a bit, and Psycho reveals that she almost killed someone who attacked her 4 years ago. It started out as self-defense, but Psycho enjoyed it and felt joy. Psycho explains that she hasn't changed at all since that day, and she doesn't deserve any love, so Psycho really is a psycho. The author of High School of the Dead did a great job choosing the character names. Takashi kisses Psycho and the screen fades to black. Takashi is getting more hot babes. Then Sam Witwicky from the Michael Bay directed Transformers movies. The next morning, Takashi goes to check outside, and he sees zombies starting to surround the shrine. I don't really know how the zombies got here. Takashi even says that they didn't make any noise. Psycho doesn't want to fight back, but Takashi gives her some motivation. Psycho uses the real sword that Takashi found the previous night, and she slaughters all the zombies. Psycho gets wet from the carnage, which would be the third time this episode that Psycho gets wet. Takashi and Psycho then run to Saya's house. Episode 10, The Dead's House Rules. It's been a day since Takashi and Psycho made it to Saya's house. The mansion is huge, and there are several guards on the lookout. There are also supplies being delivered on a daily basis, so this is a fantastic place to stay at during a zombie apocalypse. However, Takashi's group has to make a tough choice. They can either stay at the mansion with Saya's family and be treated as children, or leave and go off on their own to have more freedom. Before the characters can reach an agreement, Saya's father, Soichiro Takagi, arrives. He executes his best friend who turned into a zombie, right in front of everyone, to show that they must kill the zombies without any hesitation, even if they were somebody you once knew or loved. The demonstration is needed, I won't deny that, but the zombie's head falls into the fountain, staining the water with dirty zombie blood. That's a bit gross. You totally ruined a perfectly good fountain. The adults want all the guns, but Kota refuses to give up all his guns and become useless, and the other characters come to his defense. It's certainly better if Kota kept his guns. We already saw that he was specifically trained to shoot guns when Kota visited America, and he has really good aim, as shown during the apartment episode, so Kota would most likely be a lot more useful with the guns than these other adults. Episode 11, Dead Storm Rising. Takashi's group chooses him to be the leader of the group. Meanwhile, Soichiro gives Psycho a rare katana, because Psycho's father trained Soichiro, and Psycho also saved Saya's life several times. A fine addition to her collection. We already saw how Takashi found Psycho a real sword when they camped out at the shrine, so now Psycho has 2 real swords. Just 2 more and Psycho can go full General Grievous mode. Takashi's group plans to leave and go rescue other people, but Mr. Shido and his students arrive at the Takagi mansion, and an angry Rei nearly kills him with her bayonet. It's revealed that Mr. Shido's father was a corrupt politician, and he made Mr. Shido force Rei to repeat a grade, since Rei's father was investigating Mr. Shido's father. Yep, should have just left Mr. Shido and the others, instead of rescuing them back in episode 3. Rei ultimately decides that it's not worth killing Mr. Shido, even though Soichiro will allow it. Mr. Shido and his students are then exiled from the mansion, which is a smart thing to do. There's no way you can trust Mr. Shido, and he's already corrupted his students as well, so you have to let them go too. Shouldn't have even allowed them to come in the first place. Do the security guards not even check to see who they let in? I guess not. Episode 12, All Dead's Attack. A missile explodes somewhere in Japan and causes an EMP burst. All the machines and electronics near the blast don't work anymore. Mr. Shido's bus crashes and destroys one of the barricades near the Takagi mansion. I thought they were driving away from the mansion. How are they near it again? I don't get it. Rei definitely should have killed Mr. Shido when she had the chance. This is what you get for showing mercy. You know what they say in Cobra Kai. A giant horde of zombies come towards the mansion, and a guy tries to fight the zombies, while another guy runs away. The other guy should have ran away as well. There was no way he could kill all these zombies on his own. Soichiro orders the front gate to be closed, even though he still has a lot of his men on the outside. It's a tough call to make, but you have to close the gate in order to save the people still inside. Unfortunately, the gate isn't strong enough to hold the zombies, and they're able to get inside. The people at the mansion should have tried pushing one of the cars or trucks to block the gate. Later in the episode, we see that the characters also had dynamite. Should have used it now when the zombies were all gathered together. together. Panic ensues and many of the survivors are killed. It would be best to hide if you were in this situation. Don't make any noise and the zombie shouldn't come towards you. Don't try fighting back because you're just going to be overwhelmed by the zombies. It's no longer safe to stay at the mansion, so the people plan to go next door, where it hasn't been breached yet. Takashi's group leaves the mansion in the Humvee, which wasn't affected by the EMP. It'll take a while to repair the Humvee though, because it was damaged, so Takashi's group fights the nearby zombies. Once again, it would be better to hide and not make any noise. The sound of the gunshots will only attract more zombies. But then again, this would be a very boring show if the characters didn't do anything, so I get why they put an action scene here. The Humvee has been fixed, and the characters drive away. The mechanic Mr. Masudo chooses to stay behind, which is not the right decision. There's no way he could fight all the zombies on his own. Not sure why he didn't just go with the other characters. Takashi's group has to ditch the Humvee because they crash, and they head off on foot towards a shopping mall. A shopping mall is a good place to stay at during a zombie apocalypse, but unfortunately, the electricity probably doesn't work because of the EMP blast, so it's best to go somewhere else in this case. OVA Drifters of the Dead. Takashi's group ends up on an island in the middle of nowhere, so they didn't stay at the shopping mall for too long, I'm guessing. But an island should be a safe place to hide out, since the zombies can't swim. Sadly, there's nothing on the island except for sand, so the characters can't really live on there. Anakin would not be happy. There's a beach house though, so the characters can at least use that for shelter. They also found lots of water, so they won't die of thirst either. Takashi and Kota try to look for food, while the girls go have some fun on the beach. Takashi found some dry leaves so they could start a fire, and Kota managed to gather a lot of fish. If you're on a deserted island, you can usually find some seaweed growing nearby. This should be safe to eat most of the time. If you're not sure if something is poisonous or not, you can try rubbing the food on your skin. If you don't get a rash or reaction, it most likely means that it's safe to eat. Don't try eating any mushrooms or fungi. More often than not, they're going to be poisonous and lethal, so you want to avoid eating that. Also, don't eat anything that smells like almonds, because it's probably cyanide. If you explore enough of the island, you'll probably also find some fruit or nuts, so those will be good to eat as well. However, the characters start hallucinating, because the leaves are actually hydrangea leaves. Hydrangea are usually pink, blue, or purple, so Takashi should have known that these weren't normal leaves. The characters also should have covered their mouths and noses, and left immediately after they smell something wrong. Morning arrives and the hallucinations start wearing off. The characters find Takashi on his own, holding off 4 female zombies in his sleep. He hallucinated that each one of the female zombies was one of the girls wanting to sleep with him. I have no idea how Takashi was able to avoid getting bitten by 4 zombies in his sleep. It's explained that there was a secret cave connecting the island to the mainland, so that's how the zombies were able to reach the island. And that's how to beat the zombie apocalypse in High School of the Dead. Do you have any better strategies or methods? If so, let me know in the comments below. What did you think of the High School of the Dead anime series? I personally really enjoyed it. It was a great blend of ecchi, action, and horror. Unfortunately, we won't be getting any more of High School of the Dead, or a season 2, because the manga's author Daisuke Sato passed away in March 2017, and the manga was left unfinished. The other people involved don't want to continue the story of High School of the Dead, but if you're looking for some other horror anime to watch, here are some suggestions.
A young man named Koichi Sakakibara transfers to a new school where he finds himself drawn into a mystery involving a mysterious girl and a series of gruesome deaths. Corpse Party Tortured Souls. After performing a charm that would supposedly unite them as friends, a group of students are transported to the mysterious Heavenly Host Elementary School, where they are visited by the spirits of the school's murdered students. Deadman Wonderland. After being falsely convicted for the murder of his entire class, a young man must learn to survive in a mysterious prison with a perverted take on incarceration while also looking to clear his name. Death Parade. After death, humans either go to heaven or hell, but for some, at the instant of their death, they arrive at the Quin Decim, a bar attended by the mysterious white-haired Decim. Devil's Line. Vampires seem to be living among humans. Of course, the government does not know of their existence because their appearance does not differ from humans. They also do not need to drink blood, but when they get a craving or get angry, they become uncontrollable monsters. Death's Maiden of Amnesia. An old school building rumored to be haunted is the place where a young woman was left to die. A freshman at the school, Nija Taichi, stumbles upon the ghost of this woman and seems to be the only one that can see her. She can't remember the events that led up to her death, and hence Nija decides to help her in discovering the cause. Elfin Lead. 2 university students come across a seemingly harmless girl named Lucy Shiki, unaware that she's actually a mutant serial killer with a split personality. Monster. A brilliant neurosurgeon living in Germany finds his life in utter turmoil after getting involved with a psychopath that was once his former patient. Parasite. The Maxim. 17-year-old Shinichi Izumi is partially infected by a parasite, monsters that butcher and consume humans. He must learn to coexist with the creature if he is to survive both the life of a parasite and human as part monster, part person. Shiki. When many deaths occur in the quiet village of Sotoba, Dr. Toshio Ozaki initially suspects an epidemic, but soon becomes convinced that something else is causing them. Tokyo Ghoul. A Tokyo college student is attacked by a ghoul, a super-powered human who feeds on human flesh. He survives, but has become part ghoul and becomes a fugitive on the run. Yamishibai, Japanese ghost stories. Every week at 5 p.m., an old man in a yellow mask shows up at a children's playground and tells them ghost stories based on myths and urban legends of Japanese origin. The man tells the stories on the back of his bicycle using a traditional kamishibai paper drama method and features a new tale each week. Zombieland Saga. A young singer dies and becomes a zombie. She's put in a musical group with other zombie singer girls as part of a campaign to save the world.
Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.